Hello fellow knife heads and welcome back to Daily Blades. Today we've got a zero tolerance we're going to talk about. Specifically this is the 0350 model, and I know that there's a lot of reviews on these knives and they've been around for quite a while, but I just wanted to go ahead and give it a few minutes because for me, I'm going through my collection and doing reviews mostly on knives that I own that I think are worth talking about. They're worth carrying on a regular basis for the most part. And this is one of those knives. So even though it's been done before, I'm going to go ahead and talk about it. There's two things with this knife that it has that I generally stay away from or just don't have a lot of them. And that being, it is a assisted opening and it is a liner lock. Now, I love zero tolerance knives, and I generally gravitate towards their flipper knives or bearing knives, just things that do not have that assisted opening. And also, just out of personal preference, I really enjoy frame lock knives. Just out of my own experience, I tend to trust the locking mechanism more. That could be a whole nother debate, but we're not going to get into that because liner locks are obviously very strong as well. But just in my personal preference over the years of carrying knives, I've grown accustomed to frame locks and just really like them over a liner lock. But this knife is definitely an exception to that. This is the strongest liner lock knife, in my opinion, that I have in my collection that I would trust to do anything that I would put a frame lock knife through. So go ahead and jump into it. It is the zero tolerance 0350. It is the TS model for Tiger Stripe. This is a Ken Onion design. If we can go ahead and maybe get it to focus. You're looking at S30V blade steel, and it's got this nice tungsten DLC coating on the blade and the Tiger Stripe pattern. And I have to say, zero tolerance, their coatings, their DLC coatings and their stone washing is some of the best in the business for a hard use or daily use knife. I really like their finishes and how well they hold up. Yeah, you're going to get some smudges and some, scratches and mars. I think it's going to be hard to show up, but this one actually does have quite a bit of mars if you get it under the right light. But yeah, so knock out some of the quick specs. You're looking at just under 7 3/4 inch overall length. The blade length comes in right at 3 1/4 inches. It is a CPM S30V blade steel. The drop point blade, and it has this nice little recurve on the bottom. Has a nice swedge on top too, which helps bring some of that girth or width of the blade forward. It's going to give you a nice strong cutting point, nice strong tip on there. You're looking at G10 handles, which are textured. While they're not extremely grippy, they're definitely textured. And I like that because not only does it offer some stability in the hand and something to grip onto, but also being as they're not a large coarse grip, if you go ahead and use this in the field, you field dress an animal, you cut something open that has gets sticky material all over your blade, whatever the case may be, you can just go ahead and easily hose this off, wash it off, and then lube the pivot, and then you're good to go. So that's a nice bonus in this knife. The thickness comes in right at 1/2 inch. You do have a G10 backspacer to help keep out some of that debris and dirt. It's got some really nice jimping on the knife. It has it on the G10, the liners, and the spine of the blade. It's a medium-sized jimping. It's not too coarse. It's actually perfect for me. I mean, it just offers a ton of grip up on this ramp, and I really enjoy it. So it feels real good in the hand. I really like the way this knife feels in my hand. You're coming in at 6.2 ounces, I believe, in weight. So it's a little bit on the heavier side. For me, I would say anything in the 5-6 ounce range is normal to me and is perfectly viable in an everyday carry situation. Again, I've said this in some of my other videos, I tend to wear blue jeans and a belt, so having a knife with a little bit of heft isn't a huge deal for me. I can see how the weight might bother some, but really 6 ounces isn't that much, and I think too many people get hung up on it unless you're really into streamlining everything that you carry in your pocket. And I mean, that goes from, a streamlined wallet to you really pay attention to what cell phone you buy because you're really trying to not feel any weight in your pockets. But 6 ounces is fine for me. 1/2 inch thickness is pretty much standard for me. So I don't have a problem with that. It is, like I said before, a liner lock, and it does have very, very, very beefy stainless steel liners. I mean, these are extremely thick. They're very, very rigid. It takes quite a bit to disengage this lock. So that should not be an issue as far as this liner lock failing in any circumstance that you would come into using the knife within its normal capabilities or even slightly above and beyond. Excuse me. The knife does have one-handed closing capabilities. Go ahead and disengage that liner with your thumb, get it started a little bit. I tend to try and keep my thumb underneath that flipper tab just to prevent it from coming down on me. And then once you get it going, you can go ahead and bring your thumb around and close it. So it's a little bit different or a little bit more awkward if you're used to flipper knives or knives on bearings, because you do have that resistance from that torsion bar in there. So once it goes so far, it kind of wants to get past it, and then it obviously helps hold it shut. The one cool thing about this knife versus the 0300, its bigger brother, is in mine I always wanted to remove the assisted action. While it is quick, snappy action in this knife, it's pretty good in the 0300 as well, but I always wanted to get rid of it, but there's no detent on that knife. The 0350 line, if you get one of these, you do have a detent, so you do run the option of removing that torsion bar and having it as a normal flipper. Now, I've never actually done it, but I've seen other people do it on groups and forums and YouTube videos, and it seems like it tends to vary how well the detent holds that knife closed, as well as the resistance it puts before you engage the flipper tab. So your experience may vary if you de-assist the 350 model. I actually plan on doing a video showing how to de-assist it, and then we'll flip it on the camera and see how how I like it, and I'll probably carry it for a little while and see how that goes. So on the knife, you do get a quad carry option. You're looking at left or right hand carry, tip up or tip down. You do have a lanyard hole. I've got a little Wilson Tactical on here. I don't tend to carry lanyards on a whole lot of my knives, but on this one I like it just for ease of pulling it out of the pocket. I've tried my hand at making my own lanyards, but I haven't had a whole lot of luck with it. There's a few of them that came out okay that I use on some of my, cheaper or inexpensive knives, or I give them away. But it's just easier for me just to go ahead and buy one if I want one on a knife, and so that's why that one's on there. Pocket clip is a pretty standard zero tolerance or Kershaw pocket clip. Offers a lot of retention. It's a very, very, very durable pocket clip. Doesn't offer deep carry, but that's something that you can remedy. There's plenty of aftermarket options that'll fit on this knife as far as if you want a deeper carry, or if you want something to dress it up a little bit. Maybe you're looking at titanium. Also, I've seen titanium or anodized hardware, so if you want to change that up as well. It is ambidextrous opening as well. You can operate it by these thumb studs. While for me it's not the most comfortable way of opening the knife, it is there. So again, being that it's a quad carry, tip up, tip down, left or right with the ambidextrous opening, it is a pretty versatile knife, if you're left or right-handed. So that's definitely a huge bonus on this knife. If I had to pick a negative for the knife, for me it would be that torsion bar or assisted opening. Only because, again, I'm not used to carrying assisted opening knives. And one day I was in the shop, I build custom bikes and stuff, and I was opening a very expensive piece of electronics. I had the electronics in my left hand. I should have just set the part down and closed the knife, or took more time, but I was trying to close it in a hurry. And instead of closing it like this, getting it started, and then go ahead and close it, I actually disengaged it, started it, put my thumb on the flipper tab and pushed down. And when I did that, the blade went so far that it actually started to engage that torsion, and it actually came right down and gave me a pretty nice little bite on my thumb. So that's really just user error more than a bad thing to say about the knife. But, it did happen, so it kind of made me apprehensive of closing the knife, and for the next couple of weeks I was very cautious when I would actually close this knife. So, but that's just me not being used to the assisted opening knives and stuff. But this is an awesome, awesome knife. Like I said, it's a little bit bulky as far as the weight goes, but not ridiculous. Only a 1/2 inch thick, which to me is pretty much industry standard. You're coming in at less than 8 inches in overall length, so it's not incredibly long. You've got an extremely, useful and versatile blade. The S30V is going to offer excellent corrosion resistance. It's going to hold the edge well, and then on top of that, you got the DLC coating. All right, guys, so that's pretty much it in a nutshell. That's my zero tolerance 0350 model. No, I don't hit on every single little spec that the manufacturers have or everything that every other reviewer has done. That's not really what my channel is. It's just kind of an overview and thoughts on my knife. And my thoughts on this knife are, as a liner lock, it's a huge, huge winner in my book. Very, very, very strong knife. If you're looking for a heavy-duty knife to carry, on many different job applications that you might have, this would be it. I mean, for the money you can get one of these for, which we won't go over the price just because the knife has been out for quite a while, and I've seen them go, fairly cheap, where I thought, oh, wow, I should go ahead and grab another one. Other times I've seen them go for more than what I would pay. And it also matters if you're looking at, serrated or plain edge, the straight black coated, the tiger stripe you see here, or the black wash version. But yep, so that's the 0350, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, you guys take care and have a great day.